Imagine a world, shattered and desolate, where the only remnants of civilization are the charred remains of once thriving cities. Can we consider this a victory? Picture the scale of destruction that nuclear warfare can bring about. Millions of lives extinguished in an instant. Infrastructure, painstakingly built over centuries, wiped out in the blink of an eye. Consider the environmental devastation. The fallout doesn't end with the initial blast. Radiation poisons the land, the air, the water. It seeps into the very fabric of life, causing untold suffering for generations to come. Imagine a world where the soil no longer nurtures seeds, where the air is no longer fit to breathe. What then does victory in nuclear war look like? Is it the eerie silence that follows the deafening blast? Is it the hollow triumph of being the last one standing amidst ruins? The stark reality is this: in a nuclear war, there are no winners, only survivors. So, what is it about nuclear weapons that makes them so devastatingly powerful? Well, nuclear weapons harness the power of nuclear reactions, unleashing an immense amount of energy from a relatively small amount of matter. This results in an explosion of a magnitude unparalleled by any other weapon. The energy released can wipe out entire cities, and the radioactive fallout can render large areas uninhabitable for decades, if not centuries. But how many of these devastating weapons are there in the world today? The Federation of American Scientists estimates that there are nearly 14,000 nuclear warheads globally. That's an incredible and terrifying amount of destructive power. To put that into perspective, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima during World War II had an estimated yield of 15 kilotons of TNT. Many of today's nuclear weapons are far more powerful, with some having a yield of over 1 million tons or megatons of TNT. That's over 66,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Now let's consider the potential global impact of these weapons. The use of just a small fraction of the world's nuclear arsenal could trigger a nuclear winter, a period of abnormal cold and darkness predicted to occur after a large-scale nuclear war. This could lead to widespread crop failure and famine, threatening the survival of humanity and many other species. Moreover, the vast majority of these weapons are in the hands of just two nations, the United States and Russia. The balance of power is precarious, and the potential for catastrophe is enormous. So, while the prospect of a nuclear war may seem remote, the reality is that the weapons exist, and their potential for destruction is unparalleled. The potential for a full-scale nuclear war is a stark reminder of the importance of nuclear disarmament and the need for international cooperation to prevent such a catastrophe. With the sheer number of nuclear weapons in existence today, a full-scale nuclear war could potentially wipe out all life on Earth. Even if we survive the initial blasts, what kind of world would we be living in post-nuclear war? Picture this: a world plunged into a nuclear winter, where sunlight becomes a distant memory, temperatures drop drastically, and plant life withers away. This isn't some dystopian fantasy, but a grim reality in the aftermath of a nuclear war. Then there's radiation sickness, a silent, invisible killer. Symptoms include nausea, weakness, hair loss, skin burns, and in severe cases, organ failure. Without proper medical resources, many would succumb to this silent enemy. Consider the long-term effects on the environment and human health. The fallout would contaminate soil and water, affecting food production for years, even decades. Birth defects, cancers, and diseases could skyrocket, with generations paying the price for a war they didn't start. Our infrastructure wouldn't stand a chance. Hospitals, schools, homes, all could be reduced to rubble, leaving survivors struggling for basic necessities. The aftermath of a nuclear war would be a living nightmare, a world where survival is a daily struggle. So, if a nuclear war can never be won, what then is the solution? The answer lies in the power of diplomacy and the ongoing international efforts to prevent nuclear conflict. Yes, the strength of a nation is often measured by its military might, but real power, true power, is found in the ability to foster peace, not wage war. Imagine a world where nuclear disarmament is not just a dream, but a reality. A world where nations engage in dialogue rather than brandishing weapons of mass destruction. This is the world that international organizations are tirelessly working towards, striving to reduce the risk of nuclear conflict through diplomacy and cooperation. The stakes are high, the threat's real. Yet we must remain hopeful. The path to peace is fraught with challenges, but it is a journey we must embark on. For in the grand game of nuclear warfare, the only winning move is not to play. The world's safety lies not in the power of destruction, but in the strength of diplomacy and cooperation.